Awesome. So we've identified all the SQLite statements we need for the app. And once again, they are first creating. We need to insert a new pet into the database. And we also need to insert dummy data into the database. Next, for the reading actions, we'll need to read a list of all the pets in the shelter, as well as read a single pet's detail by its ID. Next, for the update actions, we'll need to update a single pet's details by its ID number. And lastly, for delete, we'll need to delete a single pet using its ID, as well as delete all the pets in the database. Now, in addition to these actions, you'll need to learn how to set up a database and the tables within your app. But luckily, you've already learned how to do this. So as you learn about the statements, I'll be highlighting them and adding them to an SQL cheat sheet, which you'll get at the end of this lesson. Now, you'll learn a few other facts during the course, but understand that the SQL code to do these commands are the most important. Now, let's dive in and learn how to select and insert pets into the database, as well as view all the pets in the database. So let's take a look. So the first command we'll be learning is the select command. And remember, this is synonymous with reading from the database. Notice that we can specify parameters, such as which column and which table we want to select from. And here's an example of that statement at work. So we've updated the general version of the selection statement to indicate which columns and which table we want to select from. So this command specifically selects all the rows and all the columns within the pets database table. Now let's break this apart and see what it means. So select is what we're trying to do. And this asterisk here, sometimes called a wildcard, is a special shortcut here meaning all rows and all columns. Next we have from, which designates what table we're going after. And in this case, we want to take a look at the pets table. Remember, in more complicated scenarios, there could be multiple tables within a database, just as there could be more complicated spreadsheets when there are often multiple pages of a spreadsheet within a larger spreadsheet. So this command is analogous to selecting a list of all the pets in the shelter. And I'll be adding that to our cheat sheet that you'll find later in the lesson. So here I am in the command prompt in the SQLite 3 program, and I'm inside the shelter database, and I have one table in that database, the pets table. So let's try using that select command that we just learned and select all columns from our pets table. End it with a semicolon and hit enter. And as expected, well, there's nothing in our pets table just yet. So let's go ahead and add a pet. So you can think of adding a pet like adding a row to a spreadsheet. And here's our new arrival, Tommy. As you can see in this spreadsheet, Tommy's a he, and he weighs 4 kilograms, and his breed is a Pomeranian. So the command we need to put him as a row in the SQLite database is this right here. So insert. And inserting says that we need to add a row into the name of the table that we want. So following that, in the parentheses here, are the columns that we want to add data to. And afterwards, we have the keyword values, followed by the corresponding values we want to insert into those columns. So specifically for our Tommy example, we write it something like this. So here, I'm inserting into the pets table, and for the column ID, I'm inserting 1, and this is because by default, IDs usually start by 1. And I'm inserting his name, Tommy, breed Pomeranian, gender 1, which corresponds to male, and weight of 4 kilograms. So now with this command, we've added Tommy into our database. Now here's an exercise to help you practice using the SQL insert command within the table. So in this scenario, Nina just brought a cat named Garfield and entered his pet information below. What I'd like you to do is to write the code in your database to correctly insert Garfield with all his information. 2, go ahead and change the mode to .ASCII and then paste that result from selecting all the pets and all the columns from the database into this text box here. And so this is given that Tommy from the previous video has already been added in the row ID 1.